Nobody checks if a man is okay, only if he's still useful. Have you ever noticed that when a man is doing well, when he's strong, productive, and providing, everyone seems to be around him? But the moment he falters, the moment he loses his usefulness, no one asks, "Are you okay?" They only ask, "What happened?" And the unspoken meaning behind that question is, why aren't you useful anymore? 1. The burden of utility. From the moment a man is born, he's told that his value lies in what he can do, not in who he is. As a boy, he learns that emotions are weaknesses, that vulnerability is shameful, that his worth will be measured by the size of his achievements, the number of his responsibilities, the strength of his back, and the money in his pocket. Society rarely loves men unconditionally. A man without purpose is treated like a tool that's gone dull, quietly set aside, forgotten. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom." And perhaps he said this because the world rarely accepts a man for who he is without what he provides. 2. Family and the conditional bond. Even family, the place where love is supposed to be unconditional, often follows the same hidden rule. When a man provides, when he fulfills the role of protector, father, or son who never complains, he's praised. But the moment he can't, when illness, failure, or misfortune strikes, he often finds that affection fades with his usefulness. It's not always out of cruelty, but out of expectation. We have built a culture that does not see the person in the man, only the function. And when that function breaks, he becomes invisible. 3. Friends and brotherhood. Men's friendships often orbit around shared missions, work, goals, projects, distractions. But very few friendships are built to withstand silence, vulnerability, and defeat. When a man fails, many of his friends vanish. They don't know how to handle his collapse. They only knew how to exist beside his success. The Stoics taught that friendship should be grounded in virtue, in mutual respect for the soul, not in utility. But our modern friendships are fragile, built not on shared truths, but on shared convenience. For love and romantic relationships. And then there is love, or what many call love. On the last video I touched on why lose is an illusion. It seems, however, this only applies to only men. Man is often loved not for who he is, but for what he brings. His confidence, his stability, his resources, his ambition. But what happens when those things fade? When he's broken, when he can't provide the same energy, the same ambition, the same security. For many, love disappears like morning mist. Nietzsche once wrote that, "People love their desires, not the object of their desires." Many relationships are like this. The man becomes the object that fulfills a woman's longing for safety, status, or purpose. And once that desire fades, so does the affection. So the man learns to hide. He hides his pain because he knows no one truly wants to see it. He wears the mask of strength even as he's dying inside. No one checks if he's okay, only if he's still capable. He becomes the silent worker, the emotional soldier, carrying burdens no one acknowledges. And when he breaks, society calls him weak, lazy, or unmotivated, never realizing that he was never allowed to be human in the first place. 5. The philosophy of value. The ancient Greeks asked a simple question: what does it mean to live well? For men, that question has been replaced with, what can you produce? Existence itself has become a transaction, and men are the currency. The philosopher Eric Fromm wrote that in a capitalist world, even love becomes a form of exchange. You give what you have to get what you need. And this logic has seeped into every part of modern life. A man's worth is not intrinsic. It is conditional, measured by his ability to serve, to earn, to please. And when he can no longer do so, society quietly moves on. Chris Rock once said, "Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. The solitude of the aware man. But awareness brings freedom. When a man finally realizes that most of the world loves what he offers, not who he is, he stops begging for validation. He begins to cultivate something deeper, inner peace. He learns to live for truth rather than approval, to find meaning not in others' recognition, but in the quiet dignity of self-understanding. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Because in the end, the world may never check on you, but you can check on yourself." Redemption through self-knowledge. It is a hard truth that men are rarely loved without purpose. But it is also a liberating one, because when a man stops living for usefulness, he begins to live for being. He reclaims his humanity from a world that only saw him as a tool. He finds that peace doesn't come from being needed, it comes from being whole, even when forgotten. No one may check if you're okay, but that doesn't mean you are alone. Every man who has ever carried his pain in silence knows exactly what you feel. You are not broken, you are awakening. And perhaps the most powerful man is the one who no longer needs to be useful, to be enough. A man's true value begins the moment he stops proving it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more content like this.